Hi, my name's Andrew Montoya. I'm a Colorado native, and I've lived here all of my life, except for 2 years in which I hitchhiked all over North and South America. At this point in my life, I basically lived wherever I lied my head. So, in this sense, I've lived in many places. I've lived in Colorado, Nevada, Utah, Texas, California, New York, just to name a few places that I've lived in the States. And I would have to say the most interesting place that I lived in the States would be New York. While I was in New York, I worked for a few months at a warehouse and saved up enough to buy a plane ticket. I lived out there with a girl that I had met on the road, and once I had gotten enough money to buy my plane ticket, I I bought a plane ticket to Peru and was out of there. I flew out to Peru, and luckily, almost immediately once I got out there, I met a beautiful Argentinian girl who that was also backpacking and heading in the same direction as me. This was super lucky because I don't speak much Spanish, and in Latin America, they tend to, especially in the rural towns, they don't have many prices on the objects. So when they see an American, they tend to charge a lot more. And I was surprised by this when I first got out there. So I was happy to have met her, and that helped a lot. So we hitchhiked from out of Lima, Peru, and made our way through Chile and then across Argentina. And we did all this by bus and by thumb, and we had a blast making our way out there. We slept in hostels, bus terminals, and sometimes just outside. We eventually made it to a gathering that we were heading to in Argentina, and she only stayed out there for about a week, but I stayed out there for a month, which was the duration of the gathering, and before I ended up heading back to the States. So the trip out there was a once in a lifetime experience, and the Argentina and the gathering were absolutely amazing and beautiful. But the trip back was probably the most interesting, and it got a bit dicey at times. You see, I on the way out there, I had I was a little bit too concerned with impressing this girl that I was traveling with and having fun, so ended up spending all of my money and just figured I would figure it out on the way back. So on the way back, I had no translator, no companion, no guide, and no money. But I somehow managed to make it back with only a couple of words I had picked up. Donde vas, which just means where are you going. So as I was hitchhiking, I would just find the place I was going on the map, stick out my thumb, and they'd try to say a bunch of stuff to me in Spanish I didn't understand, and I would just say donde vas, and if they were going in the same direction as I would hop in, and I met a lot of Catholics that would try to hand me Spanish Bibles, and a lot of nice people, and with a lot of luck and a lot of kindness from a few people along the way that helped me out with food and a little bit of money, I eventually made my way back, and I had already purchased a ticket to get back to the U.S., so I was super lucky that I made my flight because I would have been stuck out there and was worried I was going to have to hitchhike all the way back to America because I just didn't have a way back if I didn't make that flight. So that was super interesting, and I kind of consider that whole period being a time when those were all places that I was living because, as I said, my home was where I lied my head. So I would consider that whole experience the most interesting place I've lived. Um, as far as what I would say to an alien, if they were friendly and spoke my language, I would say, take me to your leader. No, I'm just kidding. No, well, I would, I would want to know how they learned English first of all, and what they were in search of on Earth. But once we got that out of the way, and I figured out that their intentions were not nefarious, I would want to know all about their home planet, what alien social life was like, what type of government they had. I would ask them about the mysteries of space and what advanced technologies. I would ask them about the advanced technologies that brought them here. I would want to know about alien art and alien music and alien literature, and if they had great philosophers on their planet, as we have on Earth. Uh, if they were a philosophic species, I would. I think it would be super interesting to discuss philosophy with an alien race. All in all, I think I would have more to ask and less to tell, assuming that the species was more advanced than ours. I would want to learn as much as I could from them, and I suppose I would share whatever they wanted to know. So, yeah, I think that's about all I've got. Thanks.